Hey guys, Morgan's Maintenance. Today's video is going to be the MUDFlex pan. It is by MUDFlex Tools, as you can see right here. Essentially, it is an all silicone drywall mud pan. Supposed to be easier to clean. Definitely going to be a little bit better on your hands as far as cold water and all that kind of stuff. That's how I actually came to know about this. It was Bill Vollen over on my video for the US sheetrock. This is just a magnetic little clip-on for your stainless steel pans. That allows you to have that break between that cold pan and your hand, allows you to have a little bit better grip. I really like that. Well, he commented on that video and said the MUDFlex is better, which led me down the rabbit hole of looking this up and seeing if it was something I wanted to buy. Ended up picking it up. It's going to cost you 22 bucks for this pan right here on Amazon. And then they also sell this here, which is a cleaning edge. If you want to add that to it for another $9, essentially it fits on here and then gives you a little bit better for scraping your knives. You don't have to have this. I'll show you the difference in a little bit of scraping some mud off of this edge versus also the cleaning edge to see if it's something that you want to buy or add on to your purchase. I probably would not have bought this because of one feature on it is the fact that it is 10.5 inches. I don't really use a smaller pan like that, but typically on my patches and stuff like that, I kind of do go with smaller knives and then I get out my bigger skimming blades. So I think it's going to work more so for the cleaning purposes for me, because sometimes I'm working in places not really a good place to clean my pan out. I can just throw this in my truck, hopefully bring it home and dump it out. I'm going to mix some mud up in here and let it harden. We're going to see how easy it is to clean out. And the reason why the all silicone was appealing to me is because I recently started buying these repaint paint trays. I was getting these on clearance at Lowe's. It is essentially a silicone paint tray with a silicone lid to kind of keep your paint fresh. These have worked out really well for me. I think I showed it in a live pulling the paint out. If I can find that clip, I'll do a cutaway of it here. But basically, you can just let your paint dry in there and then pull that paint right out. You don't have to buy all those disposable things and all those kinds of things like that. And I really like the fact that I can put this cover on there and kind of leave paint in there almost for a whole day, or I don't even know how long they suggest that you can, but I've left it in there for over a day, and it's just like the paint when I poured it in there whenever I take this lid off. So because I bought those and I've had good success with those, I thought I'd try out this silicone drywall mud pan as well. But I'm going to go ahead and mix up some 5-minute mud in here. Then I'll show you the scraping it with a knife on just the pan itself. I'll show you the scraping it on the cleaning edge also, and then I'll give you my thoughts about it. All right, so I got a little bit of water in there. I'm going to take some powder and throw in there as well. I'm going to try not to mix up too awful much because, again, I'm just going to be throwing this away. And I'm going to do 5 minutes, so hopefully I won't have to sit here very long to watch it dry as well. And I would probably normally use my knife in this situation, but I'm looking around the camera trying to make it so you guys can see. For a small amount like this, I don't usually get out my mixer. But I guess it is good to show that you can use a mixer inside of this silicone mat as well. This here is the level 5 mixing blade. I've been meaning to cut it off to fit my M12 drill a little bit better, and I haven't yet. I'm going to end up doing that probably after this video. I'm going to get my grinder. But this thing does mix mud extremely well. So now that I got that mixed up, again, the only downside to this, in my opinion, is that it is 10.5 inches as far as this way. So here is a 10-inch level 5 knife. That's the max that you're going to be able to fit into the pan if that's what you want to use. Here is an 8-inch knife. Kind of give you an idea on that as well. I end up using my 10-inch skimming blade from level 5 quite a bit. I can still use it with this as well. So it's going to work out pretty good for me on patches. And again, you don't have to buy the cleaning edge. So you could take this knife. I got some mud on there right now. You can still scrape it. It does a pretty good job cleaning, in my opinion. And in all honesty, whenever I show you the cleaning blade here in just a minute, it doesn't do much of a better job. And then you're going to have to clean this a little bit different than this. And I'll show you another reason why I don't kind of like it. So if I get this mud, I drop it back off. So to install this right here, you've got these tabs. They fit around this right here. Get it on one side, and then you got to kind of push it in on the other side and get those tabs locked on there. Fairly easy to install, to be honest with you. Hopefully I can get it on there before the 5-minute mud dries up. The one downside of this, because I used this today with this on here, as I kept coming in and getting mud, and then if I was scraping it, I kept getting mud pushing up in behind this right here. So me personally, how I'm going to use it for the patching and stuff, I don't know that I'll ever use this. I'm glad I bought it just in case I need it later, because who knows if you'll be able to find it forever. And this right here should last for a pretty good while. But overall, I think that you'd be just fine not having the $10 piece. But if you're somebody out there who's been running this for some longer period of time and you're like, no, you absolutely need to get this, drop that in the comments below. I'm going to go ahead and take this off and clean it while that mud is drying up onto the silicone, and then we'll come back and see how easy it is to get out. But while we're waiting for it to dry, I actually used this on a drywall job that I was doing today, and I'll show you some footage of that. So here I am mixing up some 20-minute mud in the pan. Again, this right here that you're watching is actually the very first time that I've used this. I have the cleaning edge on there. I use that the entire time, so I don't even try it without it, just because I'm curious about it. And I'm basically mixing it up the same way I would mix up anything in my stainless pan. I'm using my M12 drill with that level 5 mixer. So that's what I'm doing there. And then I'm going to go over and get in my drywall box and start looking at, well, what knives will fit in this pan. So I think this is the 10-inch that I pull out first, and then I get out either an 8 or a 6. I want to say it was a 6, because I don't really need a 10 on the first coat. I'm just doing the tape joint, getting my mesh tape covered up with the hot mud, and then I'm going to go back and get those screws. So as far as hand feel of using it, other than with that cleaning edge on there, it is a little bit deeper feeling as far as digging down in there to get your mud out than a typical stainless pan. But as far as like form factor, how it feels in your hand, how it works, it really feels very much the same. I didn't have any problem using it. It is very comfortable in your hand. The temperature of it's good, all those kinds of things like that. And again, this isn't a job that I would probably even use this pan on, because I'd want to mix up more, and that way I could just do both sides. I had to mix up 2 pans. Did one side of the wall with one side of the wall with another. So here I'm just cleaning it up. Now I'm going to go back and get those screw holes. So again, basically I just had a drywall job today. I thought I'm going to get this pan out and use it because I haven't done any patches, just to see what it feels like. There's the finished wall, as far as that side anyways, as far as first coat. And then now I'm cleaning it. So here again, if you use this, you're going to have some extra cleaning with that cleaning edge, because that's not going to clean the same way as the silicone. But in this, I go ahead and clean it and the silicone tray exactly the same way I would clean my other stainless steel pan, and it even cleans that way as well. So that job probably wasn't a typical use case of this for me. Again, I'm probably going to use it for patches, and I also cleaned it the regular way because I had a bucket there and all those kinds of things, and I wanted to make sure and do this here. Kind of my first time of trying to empty this out. The 5-minute mud is 100% hard right now. If you've used 5-minute mud, you know how hard it can get. So how easy does this come out of here? I've got quite a bit of mud in here. I can't imagine you probably ever leave this much in there, so we'll see how it comes out. So basically, I'm just going to do this. And you can see all that came out there fairly clean. I've still got a little bit inside of here. I don't know that it's going to be 100% clean. I'm also going to see if you can kind of tuck it inside out. So all that dumped out pretty well right out of the MUDFlex pan. Only thing that's kind of left is a little bit of dust type stuff. That might still be a little bit wet, but I'm going to take a wet rag here now and just wipe that down. So definitely, in my opinion, if you are a patch person and you're just mixing up small amounts of mud, and all the homeowner has is their kitchen sink or something like that, and you don't want to dump stuff out in their yard or put a big glob of hot mud in their trash can, this is definitely an option where you could just throw this in the back of your truck and then take it back in. Once you get to the house, dump it out, clean it out, And then it also has a rigidity to it. I guess I probably didn't mention that in the very beginning of the video. So like this is pretty rigid around this corner here. Like it has flex, but it doesn't feel like it's not like something that you're holding in your hand that is kind of semi-rigid. So even though it is silicone, kind of like all these corners and edges of the rectangle itself kind of got a little bit of a stiffness to them. But overall on the cleaning, I'd say that that's pretty much a win. But that is the MUDFlex pan from MUDFlex Tools. Again, $22 for just the mud pan, and then it's another $10 if you want that clean edge. I personally am not going to use that, but I am interested in feedback. If you've had this system for a while, if you wish that you would have bought it sooner or something along those lines, drop that in the comments below to help people out. Again, the only negative to me is that 10.5-inch size, but I think if you made this one very much bigger, it would get a little bit too floppy. And in my situation with patches, I typically use like 10-inch blades and stuff to put my mud out, and then I get my 16-inch skimming blade out and start, cleaning up stuff and doing whatever. So it's probably going to actually work out better for me that it's smaller. But just my initial thought whenever I saw it and saw it was 10.5 inches, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to like that because a lot of my knives aren't going to fit in there. Clean, super easy, definitely going to be nice on the hands as far as better than a metal pan as far as the temperature as well. But interested in your guys' feedback. What do you think about it? Let me know that in the comments below. If you've been running it, let us all know in the comments below whether you would buy it again. Those kind of comments are always helpful. But as always, I hope this video was helpful. You guys stay safe. Have a blessed day. I'll see you on the next video.